Yo, what's good, y'all, man? We got the Severance Season 1 ending, explain, final recap, Season 2 theory. Man, that whole last episode was crazy. Everything happened at once. You know, so we finally could see what's really going on behind the scenes of everything, man. That was good. Not everything, but, you know, a little bit. But then they left us on the cliffhanger, though. Just like the episode 8. You know, left us with the cliffhanger. You know what I mean? I don't like that shit, man. And I wait a whole goddamn motherfucking probably 2 years for the season 2. Or 1 year. But it was a good episode, man. I liked it, man. And that's the first time we saw that dude. Anger, man. He was running crazy. Trying to get to Dylan and shit, man. But hey, you know, the episodes, it's good though, no cap. That last one. Episode 9, man, that, whew, shit, got you thinking, man, for a minute. I ain't gonna lie. But, yeah, like it up, sub, y'all, and, yeah, let's get it.
Sorry, you can't unring the bell. Ringing app.
The ringing app.
Hey guys, Pete here. Well, the most fun thing that we've been up to has now come to an end. Today I'll be talking about Severance Season 1, Episode 9, the finale of the first season, and I guess we shouldn't be surprised that this was a cliffhanger, that they would end that way one more.
Yeah, they did that one more time, another cliffhanger. But, I ain't surprised, but still, I'm kind of wanting to not wrap it up. Because we kind of do want a Season 2, though. So, but I mean, hey. Yeah, we just gotta wait probably next year type shit, you know what I mean, for Season 2 type shit, man.
Time, but that is what happened. But there's also good news to go along with it. Apple TV Plus has greenlit Season 2, so we know that there is more coming. But
oh, okay, that's good then, yeah, because I know they make a bang out of this motherfucker.
We're gonna have to wait for a while to see what happens in the.
Yeah, what I'm saying, though, we might forget. I might forget. I ain't gonna lie, but you know, they gonna pop in the commercial like, oh, Season 2 out right now. You know what I mean? Type shit.
The aftermath of the innies waking up outside the.
Oh yeah, right there. Why ain't see the end of the part? You feel like you never left Severance Season 2. Okay, bet. I ain't see the last part.
That is primarily what happened in the finale. There's a lot of interesting stuff. We got some answers to some big questions, and we got some new ones. And I'm going to throw out a quick spoiler warning. Obviously, if you haven't watched the finale of the first season, there's going to be a ton of crazy spoilers in this.
See, that dude in the, that dude was in the bathroom. I said that just like museum. That's the boss man. And I think that's her dad and shit. In the museum.
So, that's your warning. And with that out of the way, let's get into it. The thing that worked for me about Severance right from the very beginning was the idea that having a device inserted into your brain to separate your work and personal lives sounds absolutely absurd, but at the same time altogether possible. You can have the thoughts, no one should ever do this, and some people would definitely do this in your head at the same time. Just like you can have the ideas, that was as thrilling, masterfully crafted, intense and enjoyable of an episode of television that I can imagine. And I can't believe I have to wait for maybe a year or more to.
Nah, that was this episode. Like, I found this show off this seeing on TV and shit. I'm like, oh shit, this shit seems cool. You know what I mean? It seemed like, okay, this might be a good ass show, and it is though. Shit, I saw all the way through. I'm like, yo, this show good as hell.
Find out what happens next, sharing space inside your head. The premise sets up a lot of fascinating questions. Chief among them is what kind of people would voluntarily sign up for this procedure. Throughout the first season, we saw some of the motivations for the normal people in this process. Using Mark as the example, he had tragedy in his life, he lost his wife, and he thought that being able to check out 8 hours a day would help him deal with that. PEWDIEPIE appeared to be similarly motivated. The finale presented us with some alternate motivations. Of course, the big twist is that Helly R is really Helena Egan.
Yeah, she part of the family. But a lot of people were saying that shit when season 8 came out, or not season 8, episode 8. They were like, yeah, she part of the family and shit. When we saw her at the clips of dinner, some shit, you know, where she at right now.
The daughter of Lumen's current CEO, Jay Megan. The motivation there is to create some positive PR for their family-run corporation and this controversial program. We didn't learn much about Irv's initial motivations, but he does appear to be working towards understanding and possibly exposing what's happening on the severed floor. So after you get past who might get this procedure, you can move on to what happens to these severed employees in this new life where they never leave the office. Who do they become? How much of their Audi is still in there? And how are they different? The revelation is that because the innie versions don't have the same experiences and aren't driven by their Audi's motivations, things can go wrong. In response to her uncomfortable transition, Helly ends up siding with her co-workers. And if Irv hadn't fallen in love with Bert, he may have continued to be a model employee indefinitely. There might not be enough coffee in the world for his Audi to set off that integration or whatever he was trying to accomplish there. But to recap what happened in the episode, it does pick up right where episode 8 left off.
Yep.
Dylan is flipping the switch and activating.
He's like, he holding on to that mother, so he's like, glasses all like this. Glasses all about to fall off and shit. He's like, come on, I know it's working right now. Come on. I know that bitch hurt as hell for he. Damn it.
In the innies outside the office.
Oh, that motherfucker.
In a great three-way split screen shot, you see Irv, Helly, and Mark all switch over at
they
the same time in their different locations. Initially, the focus shifts to Mark, and you hear that Harmony.
Of course, Mark like down there like the main character. I mean, it's really Helly, but we saw Mark already in episode 1. So of course they're gonna show his ass. Mark.
Asking him if he's all right. Remember, his Audi was telling her that he was thinking of quitting the job. She encouraged him to do that. She's trying to continue the conversation, saying that maybe he should talk to his sister since it's a big decision.
Yeah.
He's somewhat disoriented, but he doesn't give away the game. From his perspective, this
he
is
kind of off,
after he
but he don't.
Irv and Helly up in the elevator. He should be as prepared as he could be considering the circumstances. It's nice here that you can pick up on the slight changes that Adam Scott employs between how he portrays the two different versions of Mark. Because of that, Cobell senses something's off. But
she be not a sense of that motherfucker. She be like, man, something odd about you. What's wrong, Mark? What's wrong? Let me tell me what's wrong, Mark.
He has no reason to be suspicious.
There are more than 100,000 combined average annual automotive, diesel, and welding job openings in the...
In his apartment, Irv wakes up to Motorhead blaring on the boombox, holding a palette knife in his hand. He sees the painting of the elevator that goes down to the testing floor.
Yeah.
He looks around the room and he sees that there are several completed versions of this same painting sitting against the walls. Helly wakes up at the gala, and most people expected that this was going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't though till like right now. I was like, oh, that caught me. I'm like, oh, she is part of the motherfucking family. You know what I mean? Type shit. The Lumens.
After the last
I
episode,
like, oh shit.
and the first voice you hear there is familiar. It's Natalie's. She also.
Yep. I mean, we already know she part of the motherfucker.
Senses something might be off, and even asks her how many glasses of champagne she's had. They need her nimble.
Oh yeah, and she brought the news too.
And you learn that she was talking to the board, and they're really grateful for this thing that she's doing. They run into Gabby, the senator.
Yep, that changed the baby name 2 times.
Senator's wife Devin met at the birthing center, and this is where we get the reveal of her full name, Helena Egan. So at this point, neither of the two of them that are around other people are acting very natural, but again, there's no reason for anyone to be suspicious of them. I should mention that there are several shots of Dylan cut throughout this entire episode where he's stretching between the two switches to keep them open.
Yeah, man, he was struggling, I ain't gonna lie. But he was keeping them motherfuckers in though. You know what I mean?
This is not a position that he'll be able to hold indefinitely. We understand that. And
Yeah,
it makes
yeah,
for a
of course.
ticking clock situation. Mark wanders around. He almost gives things up by asking his sister, how's our baby? But she just sort of writes it off to this weird brother and sister banner that we've seen them do. A little later, he learns that it's his sister from 2 of the guests that were at the no-food dinner party from episode 1. He meets Rebecca, who was also there, and then tries to start a conversation with Devin, but then Rickon announces that the reading is about to begin. This is something that I was really looking forward to, and I love the look on his face when he sees that they're getting ready to read his favorite book. He's absolutely awed whenever he sees Rickon, and eventually puts it together that this is his brother-in-law when he dedicates the reading to his daughter Eleanor. Any Mark is just completely lit up when this reading begins, and Harmony leans over his shoulder so that she can read along. At the first break, he goes out to talk to Rickon and tells him how brilliant the book is. He tells him that this book opened the world up for him and that it changed his life. Naturally, Rickon finds this strange.
Yeah, he was like,
he's
something wrong with you? He said, nah.
thrilled to learn that Mark not only read the book but actually likes
Cause
it.
he probably didn't know he gonna read that bitch. That's why.
So it feeds right into his ego. He asks if they're friends, and Rickon tells him that he knows that there's been tension between them because he feels like he looks down on him for doing the severance procedure, but he understands that he had to deal with Gemma's passing in his own way. He brings up seeing a picture of the 4 of them together on a hike, but he's pulled away before he can show it to him. He goes again to look for his sister so he can complete his mission, tell somebody what's going on, and he gets stopped by Harmony. And then as he's getting away from her, he accidentally calls her Miss Cobo.
I wanna say, you fucked up. You said Miss Cobo, or what her name is. I'm like, that's why she drive off and start going rampage.
Belle, which leads to her realizing that something is definitely up. Devin is holding the baby who's crying, and she passes her off to Belle so that she can go talk to Mark alone. It cuts away just as he's about to reveal that he's actually the innie version of Mark. Irving meets his dog Radar, then he looks through his apartment where he comes across a footlocker. Inside he finds things from his father's time in the Navy, and beneath that he finds a trove of documents about Lumen and Severance. There's a newspaper clipping about a severed worker suing for information following an injury, with a headline that reads, "Lumen needs to be held accountable." If you look closely, you can make some of the article out, and it says that the employee lost the sensation in one of his fingers, where he could have made a full recovery if they would have been honest with him about what happened. Instead, they told him to go home and put a salve on it, and now he's suing, trying to find out what really happened. There's a list of severed employees, and he finds Bert's name and address on it. There's also a map. He opens that up. It has addresses of known employees marked on it, and he figures out how to get from his apartment to where Bert lives. He puts on his coat, grabs his car
and Bert's still alive though.
Inside to try to make his way
dead,
over
I think.
to see
Any
Bert.
dead. His work ended.
At the gala, Gabby is talking about how much having kids changes your life to Helly, and she says she couldn't have done it without a little help, and she gives her a kind of smile where it looks like there's an inside joke between them. And then she basically confirms that she's had the procedure when she says that she can't believe that there's people out there who would want to outlaw Severance. Her senator husband comes over and says that the photo display was very moving, but he already knew how he would be voting. It becomes apparent that she's part of this campaign to help change people's mind about the procedure, and it's all part of a bigger plan to make legislation that would protect it. He thanks her, and then he asks her to thank her father if she sees him. She does see the large photo displays that are the centerpiece of the gala. They say Helly, a severed story. They're pictures of her and her.
Got a whole display of her and her friends at the work shift.
Co-workers in MDR and these large rotating light cubes. She pauses at one with Mark on it, which reminds us of this newfound connection they have. And then she watches an interview with her Audi. In that, she talks about her father, and you start to get the idea that he's probably the current CEO, James Egan. She's essentially doing PR speak, talking about how Lumen is a big family, united under the same values as laid out by the core principles. She starts to look overwhelmed, so she goes into the bathroom to collect herself, and then her father is let in to talk to her. He is in fact James Egan. He looks exactly like his wax figure from the...
That's what I was saying. I was saying at the thing. I'm like, he looks just like the one, we call it, at the museum type shit.
Perpetuity wing. And after he compliments her on how nice she looks, he asks if she's still in pain. This makes it sound like this is the first time they've seen each other since the suicide attempt. He says that he cried in bed when they told him what she did to him, what that innie did to him, and there's noticeable disdain in his voice when he says the word innie. He thanks her for going through with the procedure and tells her that the grandfather would cherish what she's done, referring
look at that.
to Kier. And then he adds that one day she'll sit with him at his revolving, which I'm sure is a term that we're going to be wondering about until season 2 starts. He asks if she remembers when he brought home the first chip to show her. He refers to it as the prototype and says that it had the blue and green lights back then. And that makes you think about the green and blue badges and the way that those were reversed.
Yeah.
The paintings of...
I mean, hey, it's all coming along, though. It's all coming along.
The coup. He says that he remembers that she told him that it was so pretty and that everyone in the whole world should get one, and now he says that they will. They'll all be Kier's children. Natalie comes in to interrupt them to say it's time for her to give her speech. Left alone, she pauses at the mirror and she begins to recite the compunction statement that she had to say when she was in the break room. Cobell has left the party in her car. She's driving recklessly towards the Lumen office trying to get Milchek on the phone. Mark has made his confession to Devin. He tells her that they need to get inspectors to go and check out what's happening on the severed floor. She mentions that his Audi has been trying to figure out what they do at work, and he responds that he just wants to know why he went through with the procedure, and that leads to her explaining that he lost his wife. She explains how he tried to go back to his job as a professor, but he wasn't able to because she was still in his veins, you know, making everything hurt. Just after we see Harmony pass Irv going the other way, she finally gets Milchek on the phone. She tells him that the OTC has been activated and that she just saw Mark as his innie at the party.
He started running that motherfucker, boy. He was gone. He was, man. I ain't seen him around like that in a minute. Shit.
She believes that Dylan is behind it and that they were planning this all along. She tells him to get to the security office and stop Dylan. He takes off sprinting down the hall, but he can't get inside the office.
But he was so mad about that face right there, boy. I was like, damn. I thought Dylan, you know, Dylan still holding on for. He said, fuck that motherfucker. I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna hold on to this bitch.
When he gets there because of Dylan's belt. Devin tells Mark that she thinks they need to be careful about who they talk to because Lumen has their hands in so many pies. She thinks the right idea might be to contact journalists that Rickon knows. While they're talking about that, he remembers to ask her why Cobell was there. He explains that that's his boss, and Devin realizes that it's who she knows as Mrs. Selvig. This freaks her out because she knows she gets...
So she got, I mean, I ain't gonna say two personalities. I think she's got one person. I think that's her work name, and then she got her human name. Or her,
gave her baby to her, and now they can't find her. The whole party starts to look for her, and at this point, everything is starting to come together. Ellie's getting ready to go on stage. Irv has pulled up outside Bert's house, and Milchek continues to cut through his belt while he tries to talk Dylan down, offering him new perks, ones that he says he's never even heard about, like paintball and coffee cozies. And Dylan just says he wants to remember his son being born. At this, Milchek tells him he has 2 others, and promises to tell him their names if he just opens the door. Harmony does arrive at the gala. She runs inside in such a hurry that her car rolls away in the commotion, and you see the valets chasing after her. Inside, Natalie's preparing Hallie, telling her to just stick with the talking points. Use the line about how you see your innie as your sister. Irving sees Bert through his front window and sees that he's with another man. It looks like they're together and they're packing up for a trip. They do find Eleanor in her car seat in one of the bedrooms, and it's hilarious that this other guy takes the credit for being the one who found her. On stage, Natalie is warming up the crowd and she's talking about how there's been setbacks, bumps in the road, but now they're on the verge of a revolution, a kind and empathetic revolution that puts the human being in the center of industry. At the same time, Cobell grabs Helly. She asks, "Is it you?" And Helly looks at her and says, "I'm going to kill your company." Cobell responds, "Your friends are going to suffer. Mark will suffer. You'll be long gone, but we'll..."
No, I said, she said Mark. Not everybody else, but Mark gonna suffer. And she's saying pain.
"Keep them alive in pain." And of course, this is...
I'm like, pain? What kind of pain is it? Shit, what kind of pain is it, motherfucker?
something that we'll be coming back to. Helly's pulled away to go on stage. As she's coming out, you see Mark pick up a photo from his wedding. He recognized...
See, that's what I said. See, he saw the wedding. That's why he about to tell him. He's like, hold on. Is this wife of mine? She from the Severance. Telling y'all, man, I was his wife. Talking about, oh, that's good. The chip work. Yeah, it works because he don't know shit. Now he knows shit now because he from his work, isn't he?
Is Mrs. Casey. Irv gets out of his car and goes up to Bert's.
Yeah, he bang on that door. He like, Bert, nigga Bert. Bye, bye, bye. Bang on that motherfucking door.
Milchek continues to cut, and Helly introduces herself saying, "My name is Helly R. I'm an innie. And everything they've told you about Severance is a lie." Irv continues to pound on the door, shouting Bert's name. Mark runs out of the room looking for Devin. Helly continues saying, "We're not happy, we're miserable. They torture us down there." Milchek finally gets the door open and charges towards Dylan. Helly is pulled away, tackled on stage by Natalie, and Mark shouts to Devin she's alive. Just as Milchek tackles...
See, she alive, because I'm telling you, that's the what? That's the what, God damn it. I don't know how she alive, God damn it, but that's the what? That motherfucking business is trippy as hell.
Dylan, causing him to let go.
Yeah, he let go.
You see Mark switch back over to his Audi and the episode ends there, and you have to hope that they will understand that he was talking about the picture with this whole Eleanor gone missing commotion happening at the same time. Of course the baby's alive, but that's not who he was talking about. So yeah, this was a fantastic episode of television
I love the
to
episode.
cap off a fantastic season.
10 out of 10.
They layered the tension on top of itself and also made a ton of references to things that happened earlier to make it clear that you really need to pay attention. I think there probably would have been a backlash if they hadn't announced season 2. But as things stand, it's a confident way to end things. Keep those big questions out there, keep us thinking about the answers because there's a lot of fun in that, while also
I was saying, but it's still a lot of shit that we don't know yet still, so you know it has us thinking. So I was like, but I like the episode. The episode was good, man.
Giving us enough to know that it will all eventually lead to something. This is all propped up by terrific performances by an amazing cast, snappy writing, deliberate pacing, genuinely funny moments, and a strong vision in the directing. At the center of the story, you've got Mark who's trying to become something. He's lost his partner, and that's left him not knowing who he is. He made what to us doesn't appear to be a sound decision, but in the end it may lead him on the journey he needs to go on in order to find himself. The surface level critique of the way we view work and what we go through is enough to pull you in, and then where it really gets fun is that the innies are basically children. They're fully formed adults that are influenced by things the same way as you and me, but they have zero experience shaping them as individuals. It is a corporation that certainly has some cultish undertones. There's something going on with these Egans, even more so than the normal kind of thing that happens at real corporations.
It's like a whole quote going on in that motherfucker. Okay, if I put you in that little thing, well, they ain't no head and shit.
All the time in our world, and they're trying to mold these people into model employees. In light of that, what happened in the finale is basically a disaster, but based on everything we've seen, there's only two real problems that they might run into. Mark talking to Devin, and then the spectacle of what Helly said. The way the gala was set up, it was intended to put a positive spin on the Severance procedure.
Oh, Dad, like, what the fuck is she talking about?
So you would imagine they invited some skeptical people there to witness this thing, and she did a pretty good job of tanking that. They are pretty powerful though, so you have to wonder if they would be able to keep it quiet, or at least minimize the impact of what happened. I thought it stood out that Cobell was confident in saying that they were going to keep the innies alive in pain. We know that Audi Helly wouldn't be supportive of what her innie did. I don't anticipate her changing her mind about that. And for the others, my thoughts went to these other protocols we saw, like the clean slate, which makes you think there's a good chance that they could just wipe their memories.
Oh yeah, they probably gonna do that shit. Damn, they might do that shit though. Clean slate, yeah, they might do that.
It feels like there's a non-zero chance that the next time they all come together at work,
see, clean slate cycle, yeah, they might do that shit though.
they won't remember what happened. It's not easy to see where they would go from there though. A big part of what happened in this first season is that MDR came together and formed this bond. As a team, they were able to make it out and see the real world. If they make it so that Lumen has the ability to wipe their minds, then there almost has to be a situation where they can do that all over again. So right now, I think they'll all probably end up back there, working in MDR, probably even Helly, and we'll see how the experience has changed them. We'll see the backlash from Lumen and how their managers respond, and get closer to understanding all the big mysteries in the process. I think what Irv's up to became a really interesting question during this finale. And of course, we're all still wondering what's going on with Mark and Gemma, aka Miss Casey. The way that Irv is drinking coffee to keep his enemy tired, possibly trying to get him to fall asleep at work, and then also repeatedly painting the same image of the testing floor, which he really shouldn't know about, certainly makes you wonder. He seems to be working towards integrating the innie and Audi by passing that information, telling him to go looking for this elevator. The whole romance with Bert was one of the most fun things to watch because of the situation they find themselves in, and it made for a sad reveal at the end. But I'm still thinking there's more to come from these two, I'm just not sure how. The way things were left, his Audi is going to be at the door when Bert opens it. And perhaps since his name was on the map, they'll already know each other. Maybe he's already reached out to some of these severed employees. Mark just has to go looking for Gemma. What's going on with her and that testing floor is a central mystery.
Yeah, we don't know what's going on that floor. All we know is she went in that bitch.
With the story of
didn't come out.
Of him finding himself, being the central character, it all makes Mark seem special not just to Harmony, but possibly to the Egan's overall goal. And that is an even bigger question. I suppose we're closer to understanding in that we know that they want to make everyone Kier's children, but what exactly does that mean? Waffle parties for everyone? Get people to get the chip, not just for work, but in the way that Gabby's using it, and then flip the
yeah, that's what I'm saying, like, Gabby uses it, but it's like they flipping her shit and flipping her own, though. Like, she got her own personal chip, like, you know.
Which, activate the Kier army? I mean, I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. I'll take some time and think about it all, and then I'll put out a couple more videos. I know I said I'd do that last week, but I got COVID and
oh damn,
and I still haven't really recovered yet, but there is more Severance content to come. I think this is a good place to leave this one. I can't wait to hear what you guys thought about the finale, how your ideas about the show have changed, what your theories are going into season 2. So make sure you let me know all about them in the comments. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon.
But yeah though, man. Season 1 ending. Season 2 coming soon. It's gonna be a minute, but we might forget. I might forget. I ain't gonna lie. But not the season 1 though. But you know, this coming out with season 2. But then again, you know, I'm definitely remember that shit. I ain't gonna lie. But yeah, like it up, sub y'all, and yeah, alright, peace.